Welcome to Do the Math America. I am Charlene, the Math Shaman. Today I will be demonstrating how to do multiplication, or how to find the product of two numbers. In order to do multiplication, you need to have memorized the times tables. If you have not yet memorized the times tables, in the description box below, I have included a link to a PDF file of math facts for flashcards. Please refer to my earlier video, Lesson 1, on math facts flashcards, in which I discuss some tips on how to memorize math facts. Okay, let's get started. What is the product of 14 and 8? Write down the numbers, spread out the digits, line up the place values. So first you work with the ones column, 8 times 4. 8 times 4 equals 32. And here, similar to adding, you write down the 2, you carry the 3. And here's where it's different. Now you multiply the digit in the tens column, 8 times 1. I draw parentheses around 8 times 1 to indicate that that is the computation we do first, and then we add 3 that was carried. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 equals 11. Write down the 11, and 14 times 8 equals 112. Each school bus can seat 26 students. How many students can be seated in 6 school buses? So it's 26 times 6. Write out the numbers, spread out the digits, line up the place values. First, work in the ones column. 6 times 6 equals 36. So you write down the 6, you carry the 3. Now multiply the tens column. 6 times 2 plus 3 that was carried over. I write a parentheses to indicate that that is the computation we must do first, and then we add the 3 that was carried from before, and we have 6 times 2 equals 12, plus 3 equals 15. Write down 15. 26 times 6 equals 156. 156 students can be seated. Okay, 3 problems. We start with 39 times 4. Write out the numbers, spread out the digits, line up the place values. First, work with the ones. 4 times 9 equals 36. You write down the 6, you carry the 3. Now you multiply by the tens column. 4 times 3, brackets, plus 3. So 4 times 3 equals 12, plus 3 equals 15. Write down 156. 39 times 4 equals 156. 108 times 5. Write out the numbers, spread out the digits, line up the place values. First, work with the ones. 5 times 8 equals 40. Write down the 0, carry the 4. Now 5 times 0, any number times 0 equals 0. So 5 times 0 plus 4 that was carried. So 0 plus 4 equals 4. You write down 4. And then you multiply by the hundreds column. 5 times 1 equals 5. 108 times 5 equals 540. 42 times 9. Work with the ones column. 9 times 2 equals 18. Write down the 8, carry the 1. 9 times 4 plus 1 equals 36 plus 1, which equals 37. So you write down 37. 42 times 9 equals 378. Okay, 56 times 18. This problem requires a little more space, so make sure you spread out your digits and line up your place values. And first we multiply the ones column, and directionally you always multiply from the lower number to the top number. 8 times 6 equals 48. You write down the 8, you carry the 4. Now you multiply the 8 by the number in the tens digit, which is 5. The number in the tens column, which is 5. And you multiply from the lower number to the top number. So it's 8 times 5 plus 4 that was carried from before. And you do the 8 times 5 first, which is 40, plus 4, which equals 44. Write down 44. Okay, now we're going to clean up a little bit before we continue. So we cross out the 4 that was carried over from before. And now we're ready to multiply the 1 from 18, which is in the tens column. So now you multiply the tens digit of the lower number by the ones digit of the top number. So that's 1 times 6. But first you write a 0 in your ones column because 10 is in the 1 is in the tens column. So now you have 1 times 6 equals 6. You write down the 6. And then now you're multiplying the two tens digits together, and that is 1 times 5 equals 5. Write down the 5. And we add all those 3 columns of numbers together, starting with the ones column. 8 plus 0 equals 8. 4 plus 6 equals 10. Write down the 0, carry the 1. And then 1 plus 4 plus 5 equals 10. Write down 10. Count over 3 digits, put a comma. Okay, 38 times 15. Spread out your digits, line up your place values. First, you multiply the ones, and again, directionally, you multiply from the lower number to the top number. 5 times 8 equals 40. You write down the 0, you carry the 4. Now you multiply the lower ones digit by the tens digit on top. So that's 5 times 3 plus 4. And you put the parentheses. The parentheses show us that that's the computation that must be done first. So 5 times 3 equals 15 plus 4 equals 19. You write 19. Okay, now we're going to tidy up a little bit before we do the tens multiplication. So we scratch out the 4 that was carried over from previously, and we put a 0 in the ones column as a placeholder. And now we multiply the tens place from the lower with the ones place in the upper row. So it's 1 times 8 equals 8. And now we multiply the two tens places together, which is 1 times 3 equals 3. And we add all those 3 columns of digits together, and it's starting with the ones column. So 0 plus 0 equals 0. 9 plus 8 equals 17. Write down the 7, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 3 equals 5. Write down the 5. Okay, 67 times 46. Spread out the digits, line up the place values. Okay, first we multiply the ones, again from the lower to the upper. 6 times 7 equals 42. You write down the 2, you carry the 4. Now you multiply the ones digit from the lower number to the with the tens digit of the upper number. So that's 6 times 6 plus 4 that was carried from before, which is 36 plus 4 equals 40. Write down the 40. Okay, now you tidy up a little bit by crossing out the 4 that was carried from before. And now we are multiplying by the tens digit of the lower number. So we put a 0 in the ones column as a placeholder. And now we're ready to multiply the tens digit of the lower number with the ones digit of the upper number. So that's 4 times 7 equals 28. Write down the 8, carry the 2. And now we're finally ready to multiply the two tens digits together from the lower number to the number on top. So it's 4 times 6 plus the 2 that was carried from before. 4 times 6 is 24 plus 2, which is 26. Write down 26. And now we add those two rows of numbers together, starting with the ones place. 2 plus 0 is 2, 0 plus 8 is 8, 4 plus 6 is 10. Write down the 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Add the comma. 209 times 53. Write out the numbers clearly, spread out the digits, line up the place values. First, we multiply the ones. 3 times 9 equals 27. Write down the 7, carry the 2. Now you multiply the ones digit from the lower number with the tens digit from the top number. So that would be 3 times 0 plus the 2 that was carried over. And that equals 0 plus 2, which is 2. You write down 2. Now you multiply the lower ones digit by the hundreds digit in the top row, and that would be 3 times 2 equals 6. Write down 6. Okay, we clean up here before we continue by crossing out the 2 that was carried over from before. And now we're ready to multiply from the tens digit of the lower number. And first we write down a 0 in the ones column as a placeholder. And now we can multiply the tens digit from the lower number with the ones digit in the top number, which is 5 times 9, which equals 45. So we write down the 5 and we carry the 4. Now you multiply the lower digit, tens digit, by the tens digit on top, so that would be 5 times 0 plus 4 that was carried, and that's 0 plus 4 equals 4. Write down 4. Finally, you're ready to multiply the tens digit from the lower number with the hundreds digit on top. 5 times 2 equals 10. And we write down 10. Now we add the two rows of numbers together, and you see they're all lined up. So 7 plus 0 is 7, 2 plus 5 is 7, 6 plus 4 is 10. Write down the 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, bring down the 1. Add the comma. Okay, now we'll do a 3-digit by 3-digit computation so that you can more clearly see the pattern of how multiplication works. Once again, we write out the digits clearly with good spacing, line up the place values, and you first work with the ones digit of the lower number, multiply the ones digit by the top number. 7 times 5 equals 35. You write down the 5 and carry the 3. Now you multiply the ones digit lower number with the tens digit top number, 7 times 2, plus the 3 that was carried from before. So that's 14 plus 3 equals 17. You write down the 7 and carry the 1. Now you multiply the ones digit of the lower number by the hundreds digit in the top number. 7 times 3 plus 1 that was carried from before. And that would be 21 plus 1, which equals 22. Write down 22. All right, we clean up a little bit by crossing out the numbers that were carried from the previous calculations, and now we are ready to multiply by the tens digit of the lower number with the ones digit of the top number. And since you are multiplying by the tens digit, you need a 0 in the ones column as a placeholder. So now you have 4 times 5 equals 20. And you write down the 0, you carry the 2. Now you multiply the 4 times 2 and plus 2 that was carried from before, and that's 8 plus 2, which equals 10. Write down the 0, carry the 1, and now you multiply 4 times 3, which is 12, plus 1 that was carried from before, and that would be 12 plus 1, which equals 13. Write down 13. And we clean up by crossing out the numbers that were carried from before. Now we're ready to multiply the hundreds digit from the lower row by the ones digit of the top. So that's 1 times 5. Oh, but first we need to write our 2 placeholders in the ones column and the tens column. And now we have 1 times 5 equals 5. And then we multiply the hundreds digit of the lower number by the tens digit of the top number. So that's 1 times 2 equals 2. And we write down the 2. And then finally, the 2 numbers from the hundreds digits together, 1 times 3, which is 3. And now we are ready to add those 3 rows of numbers together. And so you bring down the 5, you bring down the 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. 2 plus 3 plus 2 is 7. 1 plus 3 equals 4. Add the comma. One final calculation, 987 times 654. So spread out your digits, line up the place values. First multiply the ones. 4 times 7 equals 28. Write down the 8, carry the 2. Now multiply the ones digit from the lower number by the tens digit of the top number. 4 times 8 plus 2 that was carried from before. 32 plus 2 equals 34. Write down the 4, carry the 3. Now multiply the lower digit ones by the hundreds digit on top. So that's 4 times 9 plus 3 that was carried from before. 36 plus 3 equals 39. Write down 39. Okay, now we get ready to multiply by the tens digit of the lower number. So we put a 0 in the ones column, and we multiply the tens digit of the lower number by the ones digit of the top number. Oh, but first we need to cross out the numbers that were carried over from previous. So it's 5 times 7 equals 35. Write down the 5, carry the 3. Now we multiply 5 times 8 plus 3, which is 40 plus 3 equals 43. Write down the 3, carry the 4. And now we multiply tens digit of the lower number by the hundreds digit and the top number. 5 times 9 plus 4, that was carried from before. So it's 45 plus 4, which equals 49. Write down 49. Now we're ready to multiply by the hundreds digit of the lower number, so we add a 0 in the ones column, a 0 in the tens column as placeholders. And we cross out the digits that we had carried from previously. So now we're at 6 times 7, which is 42. Write down the 2, carry the 4. And we multiply the hundreds digit of the lower by the tens digit on top, which is 6 times 8 plus 4, that was carried over. So it's 48 plus 4 equals 52. Write down 2, carry the 5. And now you're ready to multiply the two hundreds digits together. 6 times 9 plus 5, that was carried from before. And it's 54 plus 5 equals 59. Write down 59. And now you're ready to add all 3 rows of numbers together. 8, bring down the 8. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 3 plus 2 equals 12 plus 2 equals 14. Write down the 4, carry the 1. 1 plus 3 plus 9 plus 2 equals 15. Write down the 5, carry the 1, and we have 1 plus 4 plus 9, which equals 14. Write down the 4, carry the 1. 1 plus 5 equals 6. Add your comma. 645,498. Being good at math does not take great genius. However, it does require a mastery of foundational skills, and being able to multiply is one of those skills. The best way to reach mastery is through practice. So make sure you do enough problems that you can be comfortable with the algorithms. In the description box below, I have included a link to a PDF file for practice problems. And as always, accuracy is absolutely important. So please make a habit of double checking your answers.